The big question for a lot of you, I gather most people will be familiar with property already. So the big kind of topic tonight is why the UK? Why would you look at the UK for property? So to kind of kick us off, I think its stability is a very big factor. So the UK is a very long-standing, has a very long-standing house market. It's very well established. It's well known internationally. Some would argue that London is probably the biggest, or was at least at one point the most popular location in the world for foreign direct investment into property. Some of the things that kind of those important buzzwords we look for as investors as well. It's a very safe market. So a lot of common law around the world is based on English law when it was first brought into practice. This applies to property laws as well. So kind of property ownership, land laws, mortgaging, you're very well covered under UK law. And importantly, it's a growing market. So we'll get on to why it is a growing market in a moment too. Brexit as well. So for us on the call who are Brits, Sean and myself are UK expatriates based in Hong Kong. Brexit has been a very contentious topic over the last kind of 5 years. Looking at it from a kind of, with a bit of hindsight, the situation we find ourselves in now, if you're looking at it purely as a property investor, the pound has been weakened significantly. If you consider taking Hong Kong as an example, the pound's around 30% weaker now than it was before Brexit happened. So if you're an overseas client, if you've got money in a foreign country, your purchasing power now is probably the highest it's been in a very long time. So looking at purchasing into the UK market, Brexit's actually helped in that situation. Strong lending options as well, as mentioned. So because COVID has had a kind of a big effect internationally. But one thing that the UK government took a very strong policy on is ensuring that the housing market in the UK remained buoyant. One such way they've done this is increase incentive to lenders and banks. So now we're in a position where it's relatively straightforward to get a loan for an English property purchase, even from overseas, even if you're not an English resident or don't have an English passport. So it's a very accessible market. And most instances, you're looking at being able to loan 70 to 75% of the property value, which is huge. That's 75% loan means you only require 25% of the property price to actually purchase the property. So leveraging is huge there. Massive government fiscal policy as well. So as I just mentioned, the UK government's taken a very strong stance on keeping the housing market buoyant. That's worked incredibly well in the UK over the last year. And there's a lot going on in the country, which we will get onto, which is actually supporting further house price growth in certain markets. As well, long-standing undersupply. So looking at the fundamentals of any kind of asset or any kind of product more so, there is a very big undersupply in the UK. Consistently for the last 20 years, the UK has not been able to produce as many homes or houses or apartments as has been required each year.
How can I help you? In two ways. First of all, are you an expat, a high net worth individual, or just somebody who lives in a part of the world where it's difficult to get access to quality investment solutions? In which case, go onto my website on adamfayed.com and find out more. If you don't fit into any of those categories, then in which case there's a range of free material on my website, on this YouTube channel, and indeed on my Quora, where I get over 200 or have received over 231 million views in the last few years. And finally, if you want to actually read my thoughts in more detail, go onto Amazon and find my book on there.